This is the Padua Podcast Network.
Running a Fever, episode 339. Death.
And we're walking. I did a warm-up, and I've been doing a pretty extensive warm-up before walking because, as you know, I've had Achilles tendon problems over the years. One a year and a half ago, I pretty near severed it, pulled it completely apart. So that's why I do the exercises. I remember some of them from when I was in physical therapy. And so I've been doing that. And I guess it's helping. So far I haven't had any issues since this most recent restart. Able to go several weeks walking at least once a week. This is a Monday. It'd be great if I'd get another walk in this week. And this is October 23rd, 2023. Sometimes it's hard for me later on to keep track of which episode is which. Speaking of which, welcome to Running a Fever. My name is Michael Davis. This is a podcast about fitness, diet, and medicine. My goal is to live a long, healthy, happy, active life right up to the very end. So, I'm actually walking now. Feeling a little fatigued already in my legs. I don't know if it was I wouldn't say it was too much of a warm-up, but haven't done anything else today except sit in front of a computer. So, not sure what it is, but yeah. So I was planning to try to go a little farther today. I may just do the 2 miles, or maybe less, depending on how I'm feeling. Important thing is to get out here. Getting out here is in itself progress. Howdy. It's a beautiful day like Fayetteville, that's for sure. Kind of warm, 74 in the car. There's quite a bit of wind going on, and hopefully it's not causing too much noise in your ears. I will try to remove that in my post-production, or just cut out the parts that are too noisy. But it's still increasingly fall. More and more leaves are coming off the trees, and the other ones are turning lovely colors of gold and red, and it's just an awesome time of year, especially to be walking around the lake through these woods. 4 miles. 4 mile point, which is 19 hundredths of a mile. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'll sit down. I did have some water before I came out. I've eaten my meals today, so I'm not hungry, not thirsty. I got probably 6 hours sleep, maybe almost 7 actually. I think it was almost 7. 6:55 or something like that. weight 269. So I think I'm carrying pretty much the same weight as I did the last time I came out. Feels heavier though. Quit complaining and get to walking. That's what I should do. Well, as a topic for today, I thought I might talk about life and death. I'm technically a philosopher, I guess, but I can really only talk about my own experience, and that's what this podcast is all based on. My experience. See, I think I'm going uphill, and then maybe on the way back it'll be downhill. I hope that has something to do with my fatigue today. And I experienced a funeral last week. I'm a friend of the family, and so I went to the funeral. And last funeral I went to, I guess I've only been to like 3 proper funerals. 4 if you count memorial services. It's not like I go to a lot of them. I've been to like 4 in the last 10 years, counting the memorial service. And I say a funeral is where you have the casket and the body there. That's what I call a funeral. Going down slope. So in that sense, this was a proper funeral. Yeah, you're probably hearing all those high frequency leaf sounds at this point. And my back's starting to tighten up. These are all just things I have to go through to get where I'm going. The person who was being funeralized had lived to be 90 years old. And I think, as we go along, life expectancies are going to increase, hopefully. Although COVID was so impactful that it actually decreased the life expectancy for the first time in many years. I'm just going to stop, give my back a little rest. When somebody dies, what happens to me anyway, if it's someone I was close to, is I remember the things that we share that nobody else knows about. 4.25 miles. And that is the saddest thing of all. It makes you feel alone because there's now no one to share that with. I might have met this person once at a wedding, because like I said, I'm a friend of the family. She was mostly out of my sight. And of course, makes you think of your own mortality. Around about half a mile, I guess. It's one thing we all are gonna wind up doing is passing from this life into whatever comes next. But it makes you think about all those things, So what do I think? I don't know. I want my last life to last a long time. But, more importantly, than the long part is the happy, healthy, active part and the right up to the very end part. Because I think anybody will tell you your health declines to a certain point that, life is, such a strain. Life is such a strain that death is a welcome thing. It shouldn't really be a scary or controversial thing to say. I think it's natural. Something really heavy just fell out of a tree. There's a bench ahead, but somebody's on it. 4.41. Exactly 0.6 of a mile. Yeah, I think I'm gonna head back at the halfway point of a mile and a half. It's coming up pretty soon. It's my back's killing me right now. I think I must be walking bent over. Gotta remember to lift my eyes. And I'm not sure death is something to be feared. Probably the process of dying is unpleasant. But death itself is a release from all that. And we're at 4.5 miles. 3.81 to 4.5 is almost, but not quite, halfway to a mile and a half. Like 500ths short or something. I wrote a song recently called Driving Out of Town. And if you want to hear it, you can go to Spotify or any of your major streaming services and play the song Driving Out of Town by a band called Repo Man. And I didn't actually want 456, which is that's definitely 75 hundredths. I'm gonna wait till this couple comes by to turn around. I wish you knew how good it felt to stop and lean back, relieve the pressure on my back. I'm on my way to the official Running a Fever mobile, and I will probably be there in about as much time as has elapsed in this episode. Although some of it is destined to be cut. So I don't fear death itself. I mean, nobody knows what's beyond. You know, even in my faith, there's not a definitive outline of what is beyond because of all the symbolism. You know, streets of gold, pearly gates, many mansions within one house. I don't know. You know, nobody really knows. So, you know, I suppose that it could be torture of the soul or something. But since I don't know, there's no way to really prepare for it, you know, except to try to be the best person I can be within the bounds of teachings of my faith. Sitting down here. Well, it's time to get up and keep going. I think I saw, it probably was a ghost, you know, because Halloween is less than 2 weeks away. But I thought I saw a sort of shadowy figure. Oh, there's another person. There must be a trail down there closer to the lake. Interesting. Something to investigate further. Maybe dirt. I've seen a lot of little trails going off to the side. I figured those were really designed for bikers, cyclists, to take their mountain bikes or whatever kind of bikes down through those trails. But human can go there. I mean, bikes are on this trail all the time. So I should probably try some of those, see where they come out. Like right down by the water. So yeah, you know, it's also a time of year when we sort of celebrate death, whether it's Halloween or All Souls Day or the Mexican Day of the Dead. There's one of those trails. That may be a Santerian saint. I shouldn't say things about Santerism unless I learn more about it. But I know some people venerate this, I don't know what you want to call it, Saint Lady of the Dead, or something like that. In Spanish, of course. Dia de los Muertes, that's what I'm probably thinking. Day of the Dead. Anyway, so there's that going on. Although it's a little more frivolous. You're really thinking about horror and not death. 429. I'm actually feeling quite a bit better now that I'm walking back. Probably some endorphins kicking in and everything's warm now. Just like last time, I'm kind of sweating in my hoodie. Trying to stand up straight or walk up straight. Howdy.
Good morning, RAF339.
I want a guy with one of those air machines. Probably needs more oxygen than is generally provided in the air we breathe here. Wrap that under your nose and over your ears. You get more oxygen that way. Well, whatever infirmity is causing the need for that, it's not keeping that guy from walking. Hey, I've seen people out here with a walker walking. You know, a walker like when you have trouble walking, you use a walker to lean on. So that's an inspiring sight. Whatever your problem is, don't let it keep you from being healthy. You know, despite talking about death, I think I'm a little more upbeat today. It's amazing how that happens. You know, maybe it's just things like that that inspire me. The beauty out here is never gets more beautiful than this, really, in my opinion. Fall is definitely my favorite season of the year, and fortunately, I live pretty much right in the middle of the United States, maybe slightly south of the middle. And I get all seasons here. I think I'm going to do this podcast while I'm walking. That's what I did in the beginning. I didn't really have pre-made up topics. If you listen to the early episodes, I just published episode 333. Not sure which one this is going to be. I think I'll just call this one Death. Oh, I've got a little uphill coming up. E-bikes. Space is starting to open up here. My watch is telling me I'm doing a good job. Probably another 7,500 steps or so in this walk. which is not bad, especially compared with my recent performance. I am kind of ashamed at how bad a shape I'm in. But in the words of Doyle Bramhall, I'm doing pretty good for the shape I'm in. Really wanted that to be my theme song. But of course it's copyrighted and not available. One of these days they'll figure out how to make podcast licensing easier. Easier doesn't necessarily mean better, but it might. I actually wrote a theme song for a podcast, and I know they played it at least once, but whether they used it after that, I don't know. Yeah, almost there. All right. That's it for today, folks. Remember, if you got the fever, keep it, and if you don't, go catch the fever. Running fever.